Welcome back to a brand new day. Starting late, I had to do some errands this morning. Mike was here yesterday, you guys just seen that. I'm gonna try, I didn't think about that. I'm gonna try, probably need to cut that out. Anyways, I'm gonna start dropping skins, pulling the skins off. That's the goal today. So I think we're just gonna set the camera up and then just start getting after it. Welcome back to a brand new day. We're still demolishing this bus. There's been a lot going on. I'm a musician, I got a music career I'm trying to work on, and it ain't like the good old days when I would just work on a bus every single day for the rest of my life, right? So I kind of get in here when I can. So we're gonna get back on demolishing this bus. Jaylina and Ember are back at the house, and Debbie's here helping with Ember so I can work today. Yeah, so let's get after it. Want to show you this mouse poop, mouse nest. Ew. So there is insulation, but the reason you probably want to pull all this down, usually these buses are older, you're going to want to clean up, deal with any leaks, get any nasty stuff like that out of your ceiling. All right, and then we're going to talk about these wires. Y'all might be wondering why I didn't just pull that piece down, right? I want to reiterate that there's a lot of these weird angles, right? If you look, there's nothing to attach to there, right? So I want to cut access to this, but I've also left myself something to attach to. Does that make sense? Versus having to take all this stuff out and trying to figure out how to frame this in, right? By leaving this little bit of metal right here, I can just stick a piece of 1/2-inch plywood up there, tack this right to the metal, tack it right to this, got something to attach to. One of the biggest mistakes people building the bus is they just pull all this stuff out and they throw it away, right? You can use that stuff as templates. You can leave yourself little frames like this to reattach things to. Always look ahead, okay? So you don't create yourself more problems. So I just wanted to touch base on that. I want to tell you about the real reason that I pulled the skins, right? It's not to re-insulate. There's already insulation there, right? Few reasons is it's to find, you'll know where it's been leaking, right, by the insulation. One of the most common places nobody knows about is this weird little vent right here. Also, there's a bunch of wires that just don't need to be in the walls, right? So like all these flashers, I'm taking all that out, right? And I'm also gonna switch out all the old halogens for LEDs. So it's like I want to expose all the wiring so that I can pull all the wire out that needs to be taken out, because it's just gonna create less problems. Any wires that don't need to be here need to go away, right? It's gonna help prevent parasitic draws and all kinds of issues. So that's why I really pull the skins. It's not what most people think we pull the skins for, right? So I still need to pull the floor up. I don't know how much time I have left today. I don't know if I'm gonna go after that today. I might actually start cutting some wires out, which means I'll cut all these looms, I'll split all these looms open, and I'm gonna start tracing it back. Like for example, anything like this that I cut and capped, this was to a light, I can cut this loom, trace it all the way back, and just pull it right out of the harness. Completely gone, right? Anything like that, these flashers, they're going away. I'll cut those, and then I'll cut the loom, and I'll follow it all the way back, and take it right out of the harness. Again, anything that doesn't need to be there needs to go. Creates less problems. So, hope that helps. We're gonna keep working. Hello. So today we're talking about how, let me turn this fan off. I like to pull the skins for different reasons than besides pulling the insulation out. That's to get to these wire looms, right? So these flashers, you can see where I cut them, and I'm gonna trace this all the way back and completely remove it from the fuse block, just to eliminate shorts, problems. That's the plan. I like to cut all the looms open and then just trace it back, take it out. Super simple. It's gonna be super boring. Not sure how fancy I'm gonna get on the filming of this. Might just put it on a tripod and time lapse it, but that's what we're doing. We're gonna focus on the back section, get that done, and then we're gonna head over here to the front section, and we got a loom in here we're gonna cut open, get taken out. It's our only mission today, is to get those wires out.
Crime scene.
See this? So I'm tearing wires out and I slipped. I think my finger must have went across that. Cut me open good. Jaylena had to save me in the house.
Yeah, you're lucky I didn't pass out.
It's a good thing we have a first aid kit from the buses in there. All right, back to work. Alright, so I want to get all this out of the way just to open up all this space. And I had this little control panel right here, and I'm basically tracing all the wires. It looks like this bundle goes in here, comes up through this, and then comes over to here to that fuse block. So I want to open this up so that I can trace it all through and get it out the right way. Good morning. Look who's here. Is this the first time you've hopped on this build with me? Oh, wow.
Aside from cleaning up wires just the other day.
Wow. Okay, cool. So we're in the demolitions right now. We've been cutting open the wire looms. We had to pull some of the interior skins to kind of get to a lot of it. I don't really remember when I was out here doing it, when I got done, but we're gonna finish putting the interior skins back together, and then the goal with Jaylena and I today is to get the subfloor out. So we're gonna get on it. All right, we got a game plan right now. I think what we decided is we're gonna split missions. Excuse me. Jaylena's gonna start popping some of the screws out on the trim, and then pulling the rubber up. So the rubber sometimes isn't too bad. It'll just start peeling up. You just kind of pull it out, and then there'll usually be some screws in the subfloor that you take out. Sometimes you can't get to them, and you just kind of rip it all out, right? So Jaylena's gonna start taking all these screws out and start working on the rubber, and then we'll do the subfloor together. In the meantime, I'm gonna start putting back together all this stuff, because screws and bolts and stuff, like, they sit around too long and they typically just kind of get lost. So that's kind of the mission plan right now. So that's how you pull the rubber and the subfloor up. She's gonna start working on that. I'm gonna set the camera up and I'm gonna start putting that stuff back together. Check this out. So Jaylena already started pulling some of this rubber up, and you can see where the screws are in the subfloor. So she's gonna finish pulling this up, and we're gonna remove as many of these screws as we can. But one thing I want to talk about is, you see these weird shapes, right? Like this shape right here. We're gonna try and save these weird shapes for templates for when I go to do a new subfloor, right? This stuff's pretty simple, and I got no wheel wells, but you know, this is easy breezy, right? But all these weird cuts, like that's a factory cut. If I can keep that intact without jacking it up, I can put it down on a new piece of plywood, trace it out, cut it, make my life a lot easier. So that's something to keep in mind. I want to show you one of the most common leaks on a school bus that nobody seems to know or talk about. That's the back door seal. See this really crappy seal? You can see where the water is getting in to the subfloor and creating rot all through the whole subfloor. And the amount of people that I've seen never change the back door seal on their bus is pretty high. I have a new back door seal over there. I'll put a link to the company that I use to get new back doors. Mandatory. Don't even waste your time building your bus unless you're going to change that back door seal. Just saying. So I know there's folks out there like, oh, what's Isaac know? I don't know. I've just built a lot of buses. That back door seal you may not think is that important, but look at that.
There's a puddle right there.
That's literal water trapped underneath the subfloor. Does your back door seal matter? More than your windows. Everybody's preaching their windows. Everybody forgets about the biggest one. So, watching this video, do not change your back door seal. Or you might as well just leave the subfloor and original insulation in there. Let me show you what their subfloor looks like. Oh, bro, that back door seal doesn't matter. Oh, look, that's wet. For reference, it hasn't rained in Oregon in like a month. So, means no rain has touched this bus. I'm just saying, I'm trying to make it very, 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 very apparent right now. Change your back door seal. Worry about waterproofing your bus more than the insulation or the electrical you're gonna put in, or it's all a waste of time. Okay, you see all these leftover screws? Now, we can get to them a lot better, so I'm going to go back with the impact, try and get out what I can. But the other deal is to get these out. So I like to use, these aren't necessarily the right ones, but I like to use, oh man, they lock vice grips. There we go. Lock it on the head and then twist it out. Do that what you can. And then if you can't, you can just take an angle grinder and just chop these off. We want to get the floor flat so we can get a new subfloor in. I just realized that's it for demolition, right? Let's go inside. We got all the skins off. We got the insulation out. We got the floor up. And now it's just like starting to get ready to start fixing things and things like that. So I was just about ready to go inside and realize like that's it for demolition. So that's the end of this video series. I think this is probably a couple videos. Been filming straight through, but yeah, demolition's done. And now we're gonna start cleaning stuff up and fixing things. Let's go. Oh, anyways, thanks for watching. Consider subscribing. Appreciate you guys. You know what I'm saying? All the YouTube stuff. Subscribe, comment, you know.